What I am excited to talk to you about today is parantha, which can be made in a lot of different forms. Either you go ahead and fold it in different ways or stuff it with seasonal stuffing. Using an atta is a very important step. Whole wheat flour that you get in the regular stores will not have the same effect because the atta right over here is finer. I'm going to add some salt to this. A lot of people, they add oil at this time because they want the dough to be softer. I don't add oil because I like a little bit of crispiness, crunchiness on the exterior of the parantha, and this can also be used as a chapati dough. So in this, I am going to go ahead and add some water. So what you're looking for is not a stiff dough. It is going to be a nice, soft dough. One of my favorite memories of growing up in India used to be on Sunday mornings. I would get up to the sound of hearing my mom making some fresh butter. It used to be a churner, and her rings would be hitting the wooden churner, and I would get up to the tuck, 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 tuck sound. And as soon as I would hear that, I'm like, aloo paranthas for brunch. Once this comes together, we are going to cover it with a wet kitchen towel and let it rest for around 30 minutes or so. So the first filling that we are going to be making for the parantha is a carrot filling. This is one of my favorite fillings because carrots were only available during the winters in India. So every time the carrots came to the market, we would make everything with carrots. Peel some carrots and grate them. The fun part is that the carrots that we got during the winters in India were red carrots, so they were sweeter. Now, I like white onions because they are sweeter. If you have fresh spring onions, they are delicious. And the best way to chop an onion is make sure that you keep the root intact. Couple of slits into the carrot mixture it goes. Put some Thai chili peppers in it. If you don't want it as spicy, you can use jalapenos or skip the chilies altogether. Next goes in cilantro. We are going to do ginger. We will peel the ginger with a spoon and then microplane it or grate it. I'll keep a little bit aside for the pea filling and then put more in our carrot filling. Next, we are going to go ahead and add the spices to it. So salt, little bit of the chaat masala. Chaat translated from Hindi means to lick. So this flavor profile, this spice combination is really, really addictive. It's got dried raw mango powder in it, so it gives it that really fresh citrusy flavor to it. There's a little bit of sweetness that comes from the mango, and rock salt adds that funky saltiness to it, which makes it so delicious. There's going to be a little bit of roasted cumin powder that goes into it. Now I'm going to go ahead and mix this. So the carrot filling is ready, so let's start working on the pea filling. We've got peas, and this is a really spicy filling. So it's got a lot of different spices to it, not necessarily hot, but there is the smoky spice, there is the grassy. So there is a lot of that going on. So let's start by heating some oil in a pan. We're going to wait for the oil to heat, and then we are going to add some cumin seeds. So the cumin seeds have started crackling. This is the time you go ahead and add the ginger to it. Some salt goes in, some Kashmiri red chili, some garam masala, some chaat masala. There is coriander powder and some kasuri methi. Go ahead and mix all of this and then add the frozen peas to it, which have been thawed. Now, while you're mixing it, you can go ahead and smash some of the peas. Okay, now this is done. I am going to keep it aside, let it cool, and grab my dough. So our dough has been resting for around 30 minutes. What we will do is we will take a little bit of the dough and have some bench flour, some atta on the side. Take a little bit of the dough, put it in the atta or the bench flour, and then roll it out. So we are going to be making a small circle. It has to still be thick, not too thin. Now we are going to put the stuffing in it, almost like making a pouch. Place the filling in the center of this circle. Once this is done, let's go ahead and make the pouch. It's almost like making a dumpling. Bring everything to the center. Pinch it together. Now what I like to do is the extra dough which is on the top, I go ahead and break it off because I do not want that bite to be just dough. Now this is Indian flatbread. This is as rustic as it gets. When you're rolling it out, if you see some pieces of carrots, that's exactly what you want. Keep putting flour on it as you are rolling it out. The trick is that the amount of dough to the filling ratio needs to be equal. Now I'm going to dust off the rest of the flour. I have a hot griddle right over here. You can use a saute pan. The trick is to cook this really, really slowly. You cook it without any oil. Once it starts cooking, we'll start putting oil on top of it and cooking it till it's nice and crispy. You start seeing some bubbles forming right on top. That's the time you know that the bottom part of the parantha has been cooked. You turn it over, put some oil on it. You can already hear how crispy it is. Turn it over. Some more oil. Just look at how gorgeous this looks. Your parantha is ready. Okay, now let's make the pea parantha. It is the exact same process. Take a little bit of the dough, put it in some flour, press that in, roll it out, stuff it with the pea stuffing, form a pouch out of it, squeeze it shut from the top, the excess dough comes out, put it in some more dry flour and roll it out. Let's go ahead and cook it. These take around 2 to 3 minutes on each side to be cooked fully. What you're looking for are these beautiful golden brown specks on it. That's the time that you know that the dough has been cooked through and through. Now we have spoken about stuffed paranthas, but paranthas are usually layered, folded breads. So while we are here, let me show you a couple of different ways to make plain paranthas or seasoned paranthas. So take some of this, roll this out. Once this is nice and thin, we go ahead and put some oil on top of this. Spread it evenly and then put a little bit of the dry atta on this. Next, we're going to be making a triangle out of this. As a kid, whenever my mom would ask what was the parantha I wanted to eat, I would always say the triangle parantha. And this is it. Now you go ahead and roll it out. Make it nice and thin. And finally, there are so many different shapes of paranthas, but I have to show you my kids' favorite parantha. It's called the chini parantha, which is the sugar parantha. Again, take the dough, put it in some dry flour, roll it out, put some oil, spread it out, and then put some sugar on it. This is just plain granulated sugar. So you fold it. So at times when the kids are really craving dessert and I don't have anything at home, I just go ahead and make these chini parantha for them. And then fold it into a square. And roll it out. There you have it. And cook it with oil on both sides. And there you have it. We have the carrot and ginger parantha, pea parantha, some caramelized sugar parantha, lacha parantha, and a good old triangular parantha. Paranthas are absolutely amazing. With stuffed paranthas, you can enjoy it by itself along with some Indian achars or Indian pickles, which are delicious and so spicy. And of course, a big dollop of butter goes a long way on a parantha. Just look at this. All the peas in the parantha, some butter, and some pickle. Paranthas are a meal in itself. You get the lovely crunchiness from the exterior. There is the chewiness that you get from the dough, the sweetness from the peas, the brightness from the ginger, the smokiness from the cumin, and the spice from the achar. This is an absolutely delicious bite. You must try to make this. A biryani is a rice casserole which is cooked with different proteins. It is a rice dish which was created in the royal families of India. And it is really priced because it has ingredients which are really expensive. Think saffron and nuts. And the technique of cooking it perfectly, where the rice and the protein cooks together to come up with a harmonious dish, that's what makes for a perfect biryani. I am here at a local Indian store shopping for ingredients for my chicken biryani. And one of the most important ingredients in the biryani is saffron. Now, saffron is one of the most expensive spices in the world, and it adds a wonderful floral quality and a gorgeous golden hue to the biryani. Next, some garam masala. Now, garam masala translated from Hindi means warming spices. So think of cloves, cinnamon, star anise, cumin, coriander in this spice blend. Now, this is going to be the foundation for the marinade for the chicken. For making a really good biryani, you have to use a very good quality rice. And I use basmati rice. Basmati rice is a long grain rice which is from India. It also has been aged for at least 2 years, which gives it an amazing flavor. So this is what we are going to use. In the basket it goes. Let's make some chicken biryani. So making biryani is a labor of love. There are very few shortcuts how to make a biryani. It does take time, but when you take the first bite of biryani, it's well worth all the steps. So right over here, I have some yogurt. I am going to make some hung yogurt. Pretty much, hung yogurt is yogurt from which the whey has been drained out. Now, a lot of people will ask me, why can't we use Greek yogurt? Because that is a thicker yogurt. Now, Greek yogurt has a flavor profile that really fights with the spices that we are working with. So that's why just take the time and make some hung yogurt. So what we are doing is we are removing the whey from the yogurt. And the reason why we are doing that is so that when the marinade coats the chicken, it adheres or it sticks to it a lot better. So now I am going to just cover this yogurt and let this sit for at least 4 hours. Overnight in the refrigerator is even better. So the next step is to go ahead and slice some onions and to caramelize it. We go ahead and cut the top and the bottom of the onions. I am using red onions because red onions have a sharper flavor profile. I'm using a combination of oil and ghee. Now we're going to add the onions and slowly caramelize it. Adding a little bit of sugar in this so that it helps in the caramelization process. Now this will take a little bit of time, so we're going to go ahead and keep mixing it as it slowly caramelizes. I mean, you can see right now the onions have started shrinking, and as we keep cooking it, it'll still keep shrinking and all the water is going to evaporate from it. This is how the onions start to look like. Okay, so you can see the onions have reduced drastically, and this is where all the flavor has been concentrated. I'm going to be dividing this into 2 parts. Half of it is going to go in the marinade, and the other half is going to be kept aside for when we are building the biryani. So now we are going to start making the chicken marinade. I've put in the caramelized onions. Now I'm going to grab the hung yogurt. Right over here, the yogurt has been hanging for around 4 hours or so. And as you can see, it almost looks like ricotta cheese. Goes in the marinade, and you can see there's quite a lot of whey which has drained out of it. Now, to the hung yogurt, we are going to be adding just some plain yogurt. Next, there is some ginger garlic paste which is going to go in. Of course, ginger garlic paste is equal parts of ginger and garlic, which has been blended with a little bit of water. So I grab a little bit of cilantro and some mint, chop it up and put it in the marinade. Add some lemon juice. Lemon juice is not only going to add a little bit of tartness, but it'll also add that fresh citrus burst. Next, we add the spices. For the spices, we start off with some salt. In goes some garam masala, some turmeric, some Kashmiri chili powder. I'm also going to go ahead and add some green cardamom powder. Now, green cardamom powder is going to add sweetness to this marinade. I go ahead and mix this well. Okay, now, if you're making a chicken biryani and you prefer boneless chicken, go for it. I love my biryani with bone-in chicken. It keeps the chicken moist and it also adds more flavor to it. The first step is just to go ahead and break it down. Now, I do not like skin on the chicken when I am making the biryani. The skin becomes very flabby and it's not a pleasing texture. While I have cut my chicken pieces, they are in larger pieces. You don't want to cut it too small because when you're cooking it, it will completely break down and you do not want that. And I'm just going to go in and marinate this with my hands. Okay, once this is marinated, it goes into the refrigerator, marinate it for at least 4 hours, leave it overnight for the best flavor. We're going to start working on the rice part of the biryani. So what I have done is I've taken the basmati rice, rinsed it in water till the water runs clear, and then soaked it in cold water for 30 minutes. We are going to be putting it in a large pot of water with a lot of water in it. Next, I am going to go ahead and add the aromatics to it. So some chopped cilantro and some chopped mint, some bay leaf, star anise. So star anise gives it that beautiful, sweet flavor that we are looking for. Some cloves, some green cardamom. Going to add some salt to it. Be generous with the salt. Squeeze of lime. We're also going to add a touch of oil to this. The reason why we are adding oil is not only does it add a little bit of richness to the dish, it also makes sure that the rice kernels don't stick. Give it a quick stir. Now we are going to let it cook till the rice is almost 3/4 done. This is going to take around 12 to 15 minutes, so keep an eye on it. I'm going to go ahead and toast some cashew and golden raisins in some ghee. So right over here, we are going to roast it till it's nice and golden brown. In a lot of Indian cooking, when you are making something for a special occasion, it's always finished with some nuts to just show the amount of love and decadence that you're adding to the dish. While we are waiting for the rice to cook and the nuts and raisins to toast, we'll go ahead and make some saffron milk. Now, did you know that saffron is one of the most expensive spices in the world? And the reason why it is so expensive is because it takes an entire football field of saffron flowers to harvest 1 ounce of saffron. Go ahead and take the saffron and add it to the milk. Mix it. If you have time, just let it sit in the milk for some time. And if you are in a hurry, just microwave it till it becomes nice and warm. So our nuts are good to go. Our saffron milk is ready. So we keep checking the rice. The rice is around 3/4 done. At this time, we are going to remove it from the water, drain it, and put it in a sheet tray. So I'm going to keep this aside till the time we are ready to assemble our biryani. Let's start cooking the chicken. Okay, we'll go ahead and take our chicken pieces and into the ghee it goes. So all of this beautiful marinade, we can't let that go to waste. So in it goes. This chicken is going to take at least 10 minutes to cook. Once you've mixed everything together, go ahead and cover it and let the chicken cook. So while we are waiting, let's get all the ingredients to build up the biryani. Nice fresh mint, some cilantro, and we are going to chop it up. Our rice. And now I am going to check the chicken. Ooh, that smells so good. I'm taking half of the chicken out so that when I make the second layer, I'm going to layer it with these pieces of chicken. So we've got the chicken base over here. Now we are going to put a layer of rice on it. Now the rice is completely covering the chicken. Next, I am going to go ahead and add some of the fried cashews and raisins. Next, a little bit of ghee, some of the saffron milk, half of the caramelized onions, and then mint and cilantro. Now, we are going to repeat this process all over again. The chicken, the rice, spread it evenly all over the nuts, ghee, rest of the saffron milk, caramelized onions, and the mint and cilantro. Your biryani is built. Now, what we are going to do is slowly cook it. So the first step is going to be to make sure that it's nicely sealed. I use foil. In India, you do seal the container with some dough. Put the cover on it, and then we are going to get a griddle. And the reason why we have the griddle is to make sure that there's a layer between the fire and the biryani so that it slowly cooks. Heat the griddle and put the biryani pot on top of it. This we're going to leave for at least 20 to 30 minutes and slowly let the biryani cook and all of these flavors just intermingle seamlessly. So this biryani has been cooking on this hot griddle. What I like to serve along with the biryani is some raita. Now, raita is a traditional Indian side dish. It's a condiment which has yogurt, spices. They can be cucumber, onions, tomatoes, cilantro. You can add carrots. You can add any seasonal fruits or vegetables in it. And along with the raita, I also like to serve some papadum. Now, papadum are these fun Indian wafers which are made of lentils and rice, and it gives such amazing crunchy contrast to the biryani. Ready? Let's go. Moment of truth. Look at how beautiful this looks. Now we're going to go ahead and plate it. So when you are plating the biryani, make sure that you go all the way to the bottom because you want the chicken. A piece of chicken, the rice, all the goodness which has been cooked together. So delicious. It is a labor of love. There are a lot of steps which are involved. But when you take the first bite of this biryani, all of those steps are worth it. Now let's go ahead and taste this. This is the perfect bite. Just the layers of flavors and the depth of flavor in this dish is amazing. You get the sweetness from the caramelized onions, the freshness from the mint and cilantro, the creaminess that you get from the yogurt, the hint of spice that you get from all the spices that have been added to this, the floral quality of the saffron. Everything mixed together flawlessly. This, to me, is the perfect meal. Pork Vindaloo is one of those dishes that when I first took a bite of it, it changed my culinary perspective in life. It is sweet, it is spicy, it is a combination of everything good in life, and I am so excited to be sharing it with you. We are here at a local Indian market shopping for pork Vindaloo. Now, one of the main spices in the pork Vindaloo is a Kashmiri dried chili. Now, Kashmiri dried chili has this smoky, pungent flavor to it, which just gives an oomph to the pork Vindaloo. I am going to be buying whole chilies because we'll be dry roasting it and then blending it. But you do get Kashmiri chili powder also in any Indian store. Before we head to the kitchen to cook our pork Vindaloo, we need one more ingredient, tamarind. Now, tamarind in its natural form looks like this. At a store, you will get either a tamarind block, which you have to soak in hot water, let it sit for some time, and then strain it. Or for the ease of cooking, there is tamarind paste. This is something which is really tart, fruity, and it adds that much needed tanginess that you need in a pork Vindaloo. Pork Vindaloo comes from western coastal region of India called Goa. Goa was occupied by the Portuguese. Pork was something which was not consumed very much in India till that time. Also, the use of vinegar, which is not seen much in Indian cooking, is seen in the pork Vindaloo. So for pork Vindaloo, I like to use boneless pork shoulder. Pork shoulder has a lot of marbling in it, and the fat that you get from the marbling really adds to the lusciousness of the final dish. Before we start breaking this pork down, let's go ahead and make a quick marinade for this. We're going to start off with some ginger garlic paste. Ginger garlic paste is equal parts of ginger and garlic, which have been blended with a little bit of water. To this, I am going to add some curry leaves. These curry leaves are available at any Indian store. It has a very distinctive woody flavor to it. Curry leaf has nothing to do with curry powder, and curry powder has nothing to do with Indian cuisine, because there's nothing known as curry powder in authentic Indian cuisine. It's just a blend of spices which people have made to give it a Indian nod. Here goes in the curry leaves, some salt to this, and some pepper. Now, I'm going to be very generous with the amount of pepper that I'm adding to it, because this dish is all about the layers of flavors that you are adding. So it starts with the marinade. You see the pork right over here? There is the fat cap. Keep it. You want that flavor. You want that fat. I'm going to be cutting this into small cubes around 1 inch by 1 inch. I mean, look at the marbling on this pork. It is so beautiful. Now, the fun part about this recipe is that if you don't want to eat pork and you want to have some other protein, be it chicken, beef, even vegetables, just follow the recipe, replace the pork with whatever protein that you want. Now, I'm going to go ahead and mix everything together. So when we are marinating proteins, what I like to do is I like to marinate it for at least 4 hours. Overnight is even better. Okay, now that this is marinated well, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the refrigerator for around 4 hours. Now that my hands are clean, we are going to do the next step, which is onions and garlic. So just take a garlic and start slicing it into really thin slices. In the end of the day, this garlic is going to be blended. But the reason why I am slicing it is because as I slice the garlic, there is more surface area, there is more of that garlicky flavor which is released into the sauce. So once your garlic is done, let's go ahead and cut the onions. We are just slicing the onions. Cut the tops and the bottoms, and then we'll go ahead and slice it. Next, we are going to cook down the onions and the garlic. We'll start off with some ghee in a pot. We'll add the garlic, some onions go in. So now I'm going to add a little bit of salt and sugar to this. And now I'm going to wait for it to start becoming golden brown. So we're going to wait for this to cook down. It'll take around 7 to 8 minutes. Next, we're going to go ahead and start toasting our spices. Right here, we have some green cardamom, black peppercorn, cumin seeds, coriander seeds, fenugreek seeds, mustard seeds, and Kashmiri chili. There's going to be a touch of cinnamon in this. Now, all of these spices, they play a particular function in the flavor profile of the Vindaloo. There is the sweetness from the cardamom, there is the spice from the black pepper, smokiness from the cumin, grassiness from the coriander seeds, bitterness from fenugreek, and the sharpness from the mustard seeds. The Kashmiri chili will, of course, add some of the heat to it. Now, if you can't find Kashmiri chili, the arbol also works, but Kashmiri chili is fairly easy to find. Before we put this in for toasting, we're going to remove the stem. And I will not remove the seeds because I want that heat which comes from the seeds. Next, I'm going to add some cinnamon powder right over here. Now that I have all my spices in together, that's the time that I'm going to turn on the heat. This is going to ensure that there is equal distribution of heat through all the spices. When I'm toasting spices, what I am looking for is the color to start turning slightly brown. But most importantly, what I am looking out for is the aroma, the smells of toasting spices. So our onions are good to go. Our spices are almost toasted. Now I'm going to grab the blender. We'll go ahead and put our toasted spices in the blender. Put the onions and the garlic. Now in this goes some brown sugar and coconut vinegar. So this is what you are looking for, a paste where all the onions, the garlic, along with the spices have been blended together. It smells so good. Now let's go ahead and grab the pork. So now we're going to go ahead and start cooking the pork vindaloo. I'm going to use the same pot because we've already sauteed the onion and the garlic in it, so it already has flavor. I'm going to go ahead and add some ghee. And once the ghee starts melting and starts getting hot, I am going to add the marinated pork mix to this. So we're going to let the pork sear slightly on the outside before we go ahead and put the rest of the ingredients. As you can see, this started browning, and now we will add the rest of the ingredients and start the braising process. So now I'm going to add the Vindaloo masala paste to this. Add some tomato puree and tamarind paste to this. Tamarind is a tropical fruit which has this really tart flavor to it and is used extensively in South Asian cooking to add tartness to any dish. This works very well with the coconut vinegar because the coconut vinegar also has some tartness to it. So just that combination. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some water to this. Once the water is added, I will reduce the flame to a really low setting and let this slowly simmer. This is going to take around 45 minutes or so to cook, and for the pork to slowly start breaking down. So this has been braising around for 45 minutes. Oh, this smells so good. One of the best accompaniments with pork vindaloo is just plain basmati rice. The vindaloo in itself has so much flavor to it that eating something else along with it would just be fighting with the flavors. Generous amount of the pork vindaloo, the lot of the sauce. Here it is, pork vindaloo. This is such a symphony of flavor. Each and every flavor bud in your mouth is being touched by this delicious pork vindaloo. You get the sweetness from the sugar that we added to this. Also the caramelized onions. There is the garlic sharpness you get. There is a little bit of bitterness which balances off the tartness which is in the dish. The fat from the pork adds to the lusciousness of this dish. Sweet, spicy, tart, smoky. You think of a flavor profile and it is in this dish. Absolutely amazing. Hey, we are going to make one of my favorite vegetarian dishes, Aloo Gobi or cauliflower potato curry. This dish is hearty, comforting, and filled with spices. And as a kid, whenever my mom would ask my sister and me what we really wanted for dinner, it was Aloo Gobi. Hi everyone, I am Maneet Chauhan and this is Maneet's Eats, where I break down how to make the best Indian dishes from the market to the dinner table. Before we head to the market, take a moment to subscribe to Food Network's YouTube channel so that you can check more of my favorite recipes. We are here at a local Indian grocery store buying ingredients for our Aloo Gobi. One of the main spices that go into Aloo Gobi is turmeric powder. Turmeric powder not only adds that beautiful golden yellow hue to any dish, it also adds a citrusy flavor to it. This is a foundational spice for a lot of Indian curries. While I'm here, I'm also going to go ahead and grab some cumin seeds. Now, cumin seeds add smokiness to any dish. I like using seeds as opposed to powder because as soon as this hits the oil, it starts releasing these wonderful smoky aromas, which makes the foundational flavor profile for an Aloo Gobi. So the next ingredient that we need is green chilies. We have Indian green chilies, which are the same as the Thai green chilies. Let's go ahead and start cooking. Now that we are back from shopping, the first thing that we're going to do is go ahead and chop an onion. Cut the base off like this, and then cut the onion in half. Once that's done, let's peel it. Make slits right over here, like this. Now, let's chop it up. Now, when making Indian curries, make sure that you keep the seeds which are in the tomato because that's what gives the juiciness to the entire dish. Just a rough chop works very well. And of course, to add a little bit of heat to your dish, there are some Thai green chilies. You do not chop this, all you do is split it. The reason why I like to use Thai chilies as opposed to any other serrano or jalapeno, etc. is this is spicier. It is a little bit sharper and more floral. Okay, now let's start cooking. This is the most prized possession in my kitchen, which is a masala dabba. These are the spices that I use the most in my cooking, but in India, each and every region, each and every household has a spice box which is customized to their cuisine or the spices that they use the most. Okay, so to start off with, we are going to be using ghee. Now, ghee is clarified butter. If you want to keep this dish vegan, just replace it with some coconut oil. That works just as well. Now, we are going to wait for the ghee to start melting, and then we are going to add the cumin seeds to it. And then you wait for the cumin seeds to dance because that's the time that they are releasing their true potential. That smokiness of the cumin, which will be the foundation of this entire dish. When the cumin seeds start dancing like this, we're going to go ahead and add onions. Just the sounds of the kitchen make me so happy. Then we go ahead and saute, saute, saute. We are going to wait for the onions to start turning golden brown. So while we are sauteing this, the next step is going to be adding ginger garlic paste. And it's exactly what it sounds. It is equal parts of ginger and garlic, which has been blended with just a little bit of water. The smells are so delicious. Next goes in the chopped tomatoes, the split green chilies. Next goes in the tomato puree. Now I'm going to start adding the spices to this base. I'll start off with the seasoning, which is, of course, salt, some turmeric powder right over here. Next, coriander powder. Next, I'm going to add garam masala. Translated from Hindi means warming spices. Each and every household in India has a unique blend of garam masala, which they hold very close to their heart. Then we are going to add some fenugreek leaves. What I do to fenugreek leaves is crush it in my hands before I put it in my base. This is where all the flavor comes out. And then finally, some Kashmiri red chili. Okay, now we'll go ahead and mix this up. And then on a really, really low heat, I'm going to cover this and let the spices slowly start mixing along with this tomato and onion base. So this has been cooking for around a minute. Now this is the base of a lot of Indian dishes. You can make a large quantity of this, put it in the refrigerator for about a week and add whatever you want to it. Okay, now let's start cutting the veggies for Aloo Gobi. Now the one thing that I want you to keep in mind is when you're cutting the cauliflower and the potatoes, they need to be approximately the same size. So we'll start with the cauliflower. So over here, we go ahead and cut the florets off. Just cut the sides off and cut these into cubes exactly like potatoes, and it goes into your dish. Such a beloved vegetable all over India. Different regions in India have it prepared in with different spices. But this is a very seasonal vegetable. So cauliflower comes into the market just as winter is about to start. Okay, next we go to potatoes. So you go ahead and cut it almost the same size as the cauliflower. Now, over the years, I have seen a lot of different ways of making Aloo Gobi. People add spinach to it, add peas to it. Again, whatever are your favorite vegetables, just add it to this masala base. It's going to be delicious. Start off by adding the potatoes. Next, we'll add the cauliflower to it. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water to help the potatoes and the cauliflower cook. Let's mix this well. Just look at how gorgeous this looks already. Make sure that the masala is all over the cauliflower and the potatoes. That's where the true flavors are going to be absorbed by the cauliflower and the potatoes. So once you've mixed this well, go ahead and cover it. Leave it for around 15 minutes on low flame till the potatoes and the cauliflower is completely cooked through. While the cauliflower and the potatoes are cooking, let's work on the garnish. Fresh ginger, probably one of my favorite aromatics. The best way to peel ginger is with a spoon. I would not suggest using a knife to peel ginger because that's a sure shot way of injuring yourself. You can use a peeler, that works just as well, but a spoon is so convenient. Now what we're going to do with ginger is to cut it into really fine juliennes. Take your time. So I'm really looking at fine julienne. They are really thin sticks so that when you bite into it, it is not only ginger that overtakes the entire bite. The next garnish is going to be cilantro, which you will probably see as a garnish for most of Indian dishes. The stems of the cilantro is probably one of my most prized possessions because this is where all the flavor of the cilantro is there. So I go ahead, cut the roots off, fold it up, and then go ahead and chop it. Let's check and see if our Aloo Gobi is ready. Okay, looks like our Aloo Gobi is ready to be served. Going to transfer it into a bowl. So don't waste any of this masala. As kids, what we used to do, my sister and I would always have a fight as to who gets to eat this. We would take some freshly made chapatis and make sure that all of this deliciousness was enjoyed by us. Okay, let's go ahead and garnish it with the cilantro, some of the julienne ginger. Look at how delicious this looks. It's ready to be served. It's ready for dinner. You can have it by itself or grab some more chapatis. For me, this is a bite of childhood memories. This is what I love about this dish. It takes something as humble as a potato and a cauliflower and adds such a riot of flavors to it. This is absolutely delicious. Today, we are going to make Saag Paneer. Saag is a vegetable dish from Punjab, where I am from. When I used to visit my grandparents during the winters, I remember watching my grandma spend hours perfectly seasoning and churning the saag with a wooden mathani or churner till the greens became a smooth puree. I'm at my local Indian market and buying ingredients for Saag Paneer. As the name suggests, this dish does need paneer. Paneer is Indian cottage cheese, which you can make at home, but hey, let's buy some from here. This is paneer. It's compressed and has very neutral flavors to it. So it takes on the flavor of whatever you add this to. Also has a wonderful chewy texture and is the perfect addition to the saag. So now that we have the paneer part of the Saag Paneer, let's work on the saag. Saag literally means a mixture of field greens. So I use 3 different greens to make saag. The first is some baby spinach. Now baby spinach adds an herbaceousness to the saag, also has a lovely grassiness to it. The next green that I use is mustard greens. Now mustard greens has a sharpness to it, that sharp spicy flavor which really makes the dish stand up. And finally, the last green that I use is fenugreek greens. Now fenugreek greens has a touch of bitterness to it which really rounds up the dish. Okay, now that I have all my ingredients for the Saag Paneer, let's get into the kitchen and start cooking. So Saag Paneer is one of my favorite green vegetable to have. We have a large pot of water which is boiling. In this, we are going to add all the baby spinach. Next, we are going to take some mustard greens. I'm going to cut off a little bit of the stocky stems at the base, not too much, and then roughly chop it. All the greens need to be washed very well. Into the pot it goes. Next, the fenugreek leaves. Now with the fenugreek leaves, when you buy fenugreek leaves, you will get it with the roots. Just make sure that you nicely wash it and cut off the base, some of the stalks and the roots. This goes into the pot. Next, we're going to go ahead and put some aromatics in it. So first goes ginger. We are going to be blending this entire base, so I'm not going to be peeling ginger. As long as it's nicely washed and clean, you can just cut slices and put it in the water along with the greens. Into the pot. Next, some garlic. And we have some Thai green chilies. Now, these onions not only will add a little bit of sweetness to this greens mixture, it's also going to add some body to it. So when we blend it, it is the onions which is going to help in making a really smooth puree. Roughly chop the onions. Into the pot it goes. Next, we're going to add some salt and some garam masala. So garam masala is a blend of Indian spices. Garam means warming, masala means spices, and each and every household in India has a distinct signature garam masala which they hold very close to their heart. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and cover this and let it cook for around 5 to 7 minutes. We are looking at the onions, the ginger and the garlic to start softening up. So the greens have been cooking right over here. The onions are nice and soft, ginger and garlic. We are ready to strain this. Now, what I do is I take a colander, put it in a large bowl so that I can reserve some of this braising liquid. So that's where the flavor is. So I have some of the braising liquid over here, and now we'll go ahead and blend the greens. Put the entire mixture in the blender. Little bit of the braising liquid. Okay. That's it. We do not want a really smooth puree. There needs to be a little bit of chunks in this. Now you can see this is a beautiful bright green puree. That's because we haven't cooked the greens for too long. But as we are going to be cooking this more, the color is going to get darker. So we go ahead and wipe down the pot in which we had boiled the greens, just making sure that there is no liquid in it. We're going to be making the roux in this. We'll be using some butter and some besan. When Grandma used to make Saag Paneer, she made homemade butter, which was absolutely delicious and rich. Now, the fun part about Indian butter is that it comes from buffalo's milk. So it has a higher amount of richness and fat to it. Once the butter is melted, we go ahead and add the besan to it. Now, besan is chickpea flour, and it has this wonderful floral flavor to it. What we are looking for is for this roux to turn almost reddish. You want it to be cooked through and through. Now, to me, cooking is a very sensory experience. You smell, you taste, you see. You've got to start getting that wonderful roasted aroma of flour being roasted. That is what you're looking for. Now, as you can see, the roux has started turning red. At this time, we're going to go ahead and add our saag puree. Okay, look at how beautiful this looks. And it smells so good. And we're going to cover this and start working on the paneer. So paneer is Indian cottage cheese. It is compressed cottage cheese. You can make this at home if you want to, but you do get some incredible product at the grocery store. So you just take this and cut it into cubes. Paneer has a very neutral flavor to it. The mouthfeel is very chewy, so you can use it with the saag. Okay. Next, we are going to be making a tadka. Now, a tadka means tempering. This is flavored oil, which is usually added at the end of a lot of Indian dishes to add extra flavor, to add an extra punch to the dish. We are going to be using some ghee, which is clarified butter. And in this, I am going to be adding some chopped onions, ginger, and garlic. So we'll go ahead and chop up the onions first. So if you remember, the best way to chop onions is to keep the root on, cut the base, cut it in half. Go ahead and make some slits. Finely chopped. Next, we are going to go ahead and slice some garlic. Slice it really fine. Next, ginger. We'll go ahead and peel ginger with a spoon. I'm just going to take a small knob out and peel it. Now, earlier on in the puree, when I added ginger, I did not peel it. The reason was because we were going to puree it. I'm peeling the ginger right now because we are going to saute it, and when you bite into it, you'll get a bite of the ginger, and the skin is really not that pleasant. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this into small bruwa or small dices. To make the tadka, we are going to start off with some ghee. Saag Paneer is known for the amount of butter or ghee that goes into it. So use a generous amount. And once the ghee starts to melt, we're going to go ahead and add some cumin seeds to it. Then we'll wait for the cumin seeds to dance, dance, dance. So once the cumin starts turning nice and golden brown, we're going to go ahead and add the onions, ginger, and garlic. Saute the onion, garlic, and ginger mixture till they start turning golden. So as soon as the onion starts becoming translucent, slowly starts becoming golden brown, I'm going to go ahead and add the paneer to it. Next, go in the spices, little bit of salt, some turmeric, and some fenugreek leaves. Now, if you remember, we had put fresh fenugreek in the puree, so this kind of really intensifies the flavor of the fenugreek. Going to mix this. Saute this for a minute or so, not too long. We are going to add it to the saag mixture. The saag has been cooking and slowly this goes in here. Mix this well. Let it simmer for another minute or so, and your saag paneer is ready. Right over here, you can serve it along with some naan by itself. And if you want, you can put a little bit of ghee on it as a garnish. Ready to be enjoyed. Okay, so excited about this bite. When you take a bite, it lingers with you. You get the herbaceousness, you get that grassiness, then the heat hits you, then there is the lusciousness of the paneer that you bite into, the chunks of ginger and garlic which you get. It is just, to me, in a perfect world, this is the perfect dish. Today, I am going to show you how to make chicken tikka masala. But this is chicken tikka masala that you can make in a jiffy. My sister, she works full-time and frankly speaking, not a great cook. So she asked me to give her an easy recipe, which is still as flavorful and craveable as the original chicken tikka masala is. So we are here at a local Indian store. We are going to start shopping for chicken tikka masala. Now, one of the main ingredients which goes both in the marinade and in the sauce is tandoori masala. Tandoori masala is a blend of different spices. Now, what masala is? Literally a blend of spices. Tandoori masala has cardamom powder, cumin, coriander, cloves. There's fenugreek in it, and it has a beautiful bright red color, which comes from Kashmiri red chili. And that's what gives tandoori items that characteristic red look. The next ingredient we need for the chicken tikka masala is kasuri methi. Now, kasuri methi is also dried fenugreek leaves. It has a wonderful smoky, bitter, sweet flavor to it, and it is exactly the ingredient that rounds up the chicken tikka masala. This is going to be used in marinating the chicken and in making the sauce. Now we have all the ingredients for the chicken tikka masala. Let's get into the kitchen and start cooking. So the first step of making a really good chicken tikka masala is marinating the chicken. Indian food is all about creating layers of flavors. So the first step is going to be making a great marinade. For the marinade, we are going to be using some ginger and garlic. I'm going to go ahead and take the ginger, peel it with a spoon. This is the easiest way to peel ginger. What I like to use for this marinade is microplaned or grated ginger and garlic. The reason is that when you are microplaning it, you are also keeping the juices of the ginger and garlic together. So we take the ginger and go ahead and microplane this. And do the same with the garlic. Your ginger garlic is in the bowl. Next, we're going to go ahead and add some yogurt. Now, the yogurt that I like to use is an Indian yogurt. If you can't find any of the Indian yogurt, just use the plain yogurt that you get at any grocery store. Just make sure that you're using the full fat yogurt because that's where the lusciousness to the marinade comes from. I'm going to squeeze some lemon and then some salt goes in the marinade. So we are going to be using this tandoori masala to make the marinade. It just makes the process so much simpler. To go ahead and toast this tandoori masala, we are going to be using butter. The reason why we are using butter is because this chicken tikka masala is inspired from an Indian dish which is called chicken makhani. Chicken makhani, translated from Hindi, means chicken cooked in butter. So once the butter is melted, add the tandoori masala, and some fenugreek leaves. Smells so good. So right now, what you are looking for is the butter to start bubbling with all the spices. This is a small step to make the marinade, but I can't begin to tell you how much flavor just this simple toasting of the spices in butter adds to the entire dish. Okay, so here I have some boneless chicken thigh meat. We are going to be cooking the chicken twice. Once in the broiler and the second time in the sauce. I like the fact that the chicken thigh meat has so much more flavor and it stays juicy for a longer time. I'm going to go ahead, remove some of the fat, and I'm going to cut this into fairly large chunks. So once the chicken is cut, we'll put it in the marinade and mix it well. So now the chicken is marinating. I am going to put it in the refrigerator 4 hours. Overnight, if you can leave it, it's even better, and be right back. Okay, so the chicken has been marinating in the refrigerator overnight, so it's got all of these wonderful flavors. What we are going to do is we're going to bake it. In a sheet pan, put a little bit of butter. Just use my hands. Put the chicken pieces all over the pan. Now with all the marinade that is left, put it all over the chicken. You want this flavor. Now this goes into the oven, the highest broil setting on the highest shelf. It will take around 7 to 8 minutes, but keep an eye on it. So while our chicken is broiling and baking, we'll start working on the sauce. We are going to be using store-bought marinara sauce for it. There is heavy cream, touch of honey. We'll go ahead and heat a pot. In this, we are going to melt some butter. And once the butter melts, we will add the spices. We're going to add some tandoori masala to this and some fenugreek leaves or kasuri methi. Already smells so good. Just that combination of butter along with the tandoori masala and the fenugreek is such a delicious combination. By smell, you will know that this is ready to go. It's that toasted spices, but also with the sight, when it starts bubbling right on top, that's the time you are ready for the next step. So whenever you're adding tomato sauce to anything, I always suggest just turn off the heat, because with tomato sauce, it has a tendency to really splatter. We put the marinara sauce in. Put some heavy cream in this. A touch of honey. The sweetness of the honey, it works with the tartness of the tomatoes. Slowly we go ahead and mix this. Starting to look like chicken tikka masala. Add some salt to this and then cover it and set it on the lowest heat possible so that you let it simmer. So my sauce is simmering. I'm going to go ahead and get the chicken out of the oven. I mean, just look at how beautiful this looks. And this is exactly what we are looking for. We want the char. This smells absolutely delicious. And also the marinade, which has been broiled and baked along with the chicken, it has this depth of flavor, which is what you want in your chicken tikka masala. Now I'm going to add the chicken to the sauce. All the goodness. This looks so good. There's always this question which people ask me, what is tandoori chicken? What is chicken tikka masala? Now, tandoori chicken literally means grilled chicken in the tandoor. So what we added into the sauce was the tandoori chicken. It is chicken which has been marinated in tandoori spices and then baked in the tandoor or the oven. Now with the chicken tikka masala, the fun story is they were Indian immigrants who were living in England who created the chicken tikka masala. But to me, this was inspired from chicken makhani, which has been served in India for generations. So this has been braising for a few minutes and we are ready to serve it. Chicken tikka masala goes great with rice. You can also have it with naan or by itself. Okay, let's go ahead and plate this. Okay, let's garnish this now. So I like to garnish this with a little bit of cream right on top, a nice sprig of cilantro. That's it. Easy peasy chicken tikka masala for dinner. All that goodness of the sauce, and enjoy. You can make chicken tikka masala at home in a jiffy. This is amazing. You get the tartness from the tomato. The honey in it rounds up the flavor. The butter and the cream, they add lusciousness and richness to the dish. And the flavors of the chicken, which has a little bit of the smokiness coming from the char. Absolutely amazing. Growing up in India, my dad would always make this epic masala omelet. It had spices in it, chilies, onions, and then he would put some cheese in it. So it was an ooey gooey, delicious start for the day. I am at my local Indian market and shopping for ingredients for my masala omelette sandwich. Now, one of the most important ingredients is a really good cheese, but it has to be an Indian cheese. Here we have it. This is a processed white cheddar cheese, which works beautifully because it stands up to the spices that I'm going to be adding to the masala omelette sandwich. Now, to make the masala omelette sandwich even more delicious, we've got to add a dash of hot and sweet ketchup. This is an Indian spicy and sweet ketchup, which is delicious. It adds a depth of flavor to the sandwich. But hey, you can have this with anything. It is absolutely amazing. So for the masala omelette, what you need is masala. So masala is spices and flavorings. We are going to go ahead and cut a few vegetables. We'll start off with a red onion. Now, the reason why I like a red onion is because it has a little bit of sharpness. And you know what? Growing up in India, that's what Dad used. So I am carrying that recipe across. And then we will cut a few slits. Onions are done. Next, I am going to go ahead and chop up some Thai chili. Cut some tomato. I do not de-seed the tomato. I actually like the seeds of the tomato because when I am sauteing the onions, I want a little bit of that juice which comes from the seeds to work along with the onions. Next, we are going to cut a little bit of ginger. There is not a lot, just a little, but we are going to go ahead and peel it with a spoon. And just a touch of ginger, not too much. So in India, there are so many varieties of masala omelette. One of the funnest things is, as a street food, this is sold right outside train stations. A lot of people who are catching an early train, they stop by and they are street vendors who are making these masala omelettes. Everybody has their own signature, which they don't share with anyone. Masala omelette can be made in so many ways. Finally, I'm going to go ahead and cut some cilantro. We take some eggs and crack in a bowl. Then I'm going to go ahead and put some cilantro in this. Next, some milk goes in. Now, the reason why I add milk is that it gives it a little bit of creaminess. Just a little goes a long way. There are spices which are going to go in. We'll start with some salt. Then there is some Kashmiri red chili powder. Little bit of turmeric, which will make it nice and golden in color. Some garam masala and some pepper. Now we'll just whisk it together. Okay. Let's start cooking. Let's go ahead and heat a pan and add some butter. Okay, once the butter starts to melt, I'm going to go ahead and add some cumin seeds to it. And right now, as you can see, this is brown butter. In goes my onions, chilies, and ginger mixture. The reason why I want the butter brown is because I want to add an extra layer of nuttiness to this dish. I'm going to add the tomatoes to it. So we'll cook this for a minute or so till the time the tomatoes start breaking down. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and add the egg mixture. I went around to make sure that all the onions and the tomatoes are nicely covered with the egg. Let's go ahead and grab some bread. Use your favorite bread. I do like a nice white bread to go along with this. Put it in the egg and turn it. Heat level needs to be at medium because we don't want the egg at the bottom to burn. Now we are just going to let this cook. So cover it for around 2 to 3 minutes till the time the egg is set. The eggs look like they have set. And now we're going to flip it. We're going to flip the whole thing, right? And then stuff it with some Indian cheese. So get a fish spatula. Goes all the way under and, okay? Then you take the part which is hanging over the bread. You turn it over. Cut this in between the two breads. And it looks good enough to eat right now. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some cheese to it. Now this is Indian processed cheese. It's called Amul cheese. As a kid, this was the only cheese that I knew growing up. So just be generous with the amount of cheese that you are adding. The cheesier, the better. And now we are going to slowly cook both sides till the time the cheese melts. Nicely toast the bread in butter on both sides. Go ahead and flip the sandwich. Oh, come on. Okay, here we are. Just look at the ooey gooey cheese. So with a masala omelette, I have to have it with an Indian hot and sweet ketchup. It is absolutely amazing, adds a little bit of spice and sweetness to it. And hey, this is how I enjoy it. This is so good. You get the creaminess and the sharpness of the cheese first. The sweet and spicy combination of this ketchup over this masala omelette sandwich completes the entire bite. There's a little bit of the bite from the onions. There is spice coming from the Thai chili, the citrus quality of the turmeric, the herbaceousness of the cilantro. I am so excited to be showing you one of my favorite recipes. It is masala chai along with this delicious, crunchy, savory snack called Murukku. The combination of the sweet chai along with the crunchy, savory Murukku is a marriage made in heaven. Here at a local Indian store, shopping for ingredients for masala chai and Murukku. For a masala chai, the most important ingredient is a really good loose leaf tea. Now, what I like to use is Assam tea because it is a stronger black tea. It holds up to all the spices that we are going to add to the masala chai. Now we need something to sweeten our masala chai. You can use sugar or honey. I like to use jaggery. Now, jaggery is unrefined Indian sugar. It has a little bit of minerality to it, which goes very well with the spices that we are going to add to the masala chai. What we are going to be using for the Murukku is a urad dal. Now, urad dal is black lentils from which the skin has been removed. It has a very earthy flavor to it and works beautifully when we are making the Murukku. I am so excited to be sharing how to make a Murukku with you. Now, one of my favorite memories growing up in India, I grew up in this really small town. And I would have dinner at home, sneak over to my neighbors' houses, tell them that my parents hadn't fed me, and just sit with them in the kitchen and see them cook. So one of my neighbors, the aunties, used to make this Murukku. And I would be sitting with her in her kitchen as she would be frying these delicious savory snacks and just sneaking some for myself. So I have a really, really fond memory of eating murukkus as a kid. One of the main ingredients is urad dal. This is used extensively in Southern Indian cooking. Not only do you use it in savory snacks, as we are going to be in the Murukku today, but this is also soaked and fermented, and you make breads out of it. So it is very extensively used in Southern Indian cooking. So we'll start off by dry roasting the urad dal. Now, this is a very critical step. You've got to be with the urad dal throughout the roasting process. If you just walk away, that's the time that the urad dal is going to burn. This will take a little bit of time, so have some patience and keep roasting it till it is nice and golden. Murukku has a really fun story to it. Murukku, translated from a Southern Indian language, Tamil, means twisted. When you see these snacks, they are in concentric circles, so they are twisted. In Southern India, Murukku is served with chai or coffee. It is called a tea time snack. In fact, every morning, along with my chai, I have Murukku. I always say cooking is a very sensory experience. So when you're cooking something, rely on your sense of smell, sight, sounds. That's how you make a really amazing dish. Right now, this beautiful, nutty, roasted smell of the urad dal being roasted is wafting through. And you can see that it has now started changing color. See. So it started getting this beautiful reddish hue to it. And at this time, you know it's ready to be ground. So while the urad dal is cooling down, I am going to go ahead and dry roast some sesame seeds. These are white sesame seeds. Now, this doesn't take a very long time, so please be standing right in front of the saute pan. And now these are sesame seeds dancing. Okay, so the sesame seed is ready and we are going to put this in a bowl. Next, we are going to get a spice grinder to grind the urad dal. Now, spice grinder is usually the best way to go because it makes sure you get a fine powder out of the urad dal. So you can do it in small batches. And it's really fun. How you know that it's done is by the sound of it. So once it is done, I'm going to go ahead and sift it into the bowl which has the sesame seeds in. The reason why I grind the dal and not the sesame seeds is because when I bite into the Murukku, I love that textural contrast of something which is nice, smooth and crunchy along with the bite of the sesame seed that you get. This has our toasted sesame seed. It has our toasted urad dal powder. Now we are going to put some rice flour in it. Rice flour gives it a wonderful amount of crunchiness, which we really, really like. Next, we are going to go ahead and add some seasoning to it. So some salt, some turmeric. I'm going to put a touch of Kashmiri chili. The other spice that I'm going to add to this is called hing. Hing is also asafoetida, and it comes from a sap of a tree. So it has this garlicky, oniony flavor to it, which is very distinctive, and a little hing goes a long way. Once I have all of this together, I am going to go ahead and crumble some butter in this. The butter has to be at room temperature because what you are doing is you are slowly massaging the butter into this entire flour mixture. And you keep on mixing it till it becomes nice and crumbly. As you can see, it almost has a sand-like texture. Now, what we are looking for is a dough. The dough has to be pliable because this is going to go into a Murukku maker. Think of when you're making a sugar cookie. That is the consistency that we are looking at. I add the water. Now, when I am making doughs, I like using my hands because I keep on getting the consistency of the dough as I am mixing this. This is what we are looking for, this consistency. Now this looks perfect. I'm going to go and grab my Murukku maker and we are going to start making some Murukkus. I remember my neighbor, she used to use a Murukku maker which was like this. This is old school. You can actually find this online and at any of the Indian stores. Remove the base. The Murukku maker comes with a lot of different dyes. This is the star dye which we are going to be using to make a Murukku. A new Murukku maker which I recently got is something which makes making a Murukku very easy. All you have to do is just press it and make the concentric circles. So this is what we are going to use. Whenever you make Murukku, just make sure that you nicely grease the inside of the Murukku maker. Otherwise, this is going to stick to the Murukku maker and you're not going to get a really nice, smooth, concentric circle. So, to use this, you go ahead and unscrew the bottom. And I'm going to use a brush and some oil to nicely grease the inside of this Murukku maker. The next thing that I'm going to do is get some parchment paper. Now, if you want, you can fry the Murukkus directly into the fryer, but this is a great tip for you to make a lot of Murukkus and then put it into the fryer. I'm going to take some of the Murukku dough right over here, put it in the Murukku maker, put the bottom back on, and then on the parchment paper, go ahead and make concentric circles. Press this and it goes round. Make sure that you tuck the end into the Murukku. So this is what we are looking for. If you do not have a Murukku maker, use a piping bag. We will take a little bit of the dough, cut the base off, and make concentric circles. The best part about the Murukku is that they don't have to be perfect, they just have to be delicious. So now that I have piped all my Murukkus, let's take it over to the fryer and start frying them. So, I have this on a parchment paper. The amazing part about this is that you can put the Murukku in the fryer with the parchment paper, and then the parchment paper slides out and you can just pull that out. So this is going to go for at least 5 minutes or so. What we are looking for is a beautiful golden brown color for it to be nice and crispy through and through. Make sure that you have a plate which is lined with some paper towels for you to take these deep fried Murukkus out. What you are looking for is something to absorb all the residual oil. So how you know that the Murukkus are ready is when the Murukkus stop bubbling. So right over here, as you can see, this is not bubbling anymore. This Murukku is done. So the Murukkus are ready. I am going to let this cool, and while this is cooling, we are going to make some chai. Before we start, there is nothing known as chai tea because chai translated from Hindi means tea. Masala tea is a spice tea, and growing up in India, you get tea being sold in each and every corner, and everybody has their own special blend of spices that they add. To start off with, we make a spice blend. Whenever you're making spice blends, my suggestion is to start off with whole spices because that gives the most amount of flavor to it. So I start off with some green cardamom. Now, green cardamom adds sweetness and a floral quality to anything that you're making. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add some fennel. Now, fennel has this amazing licorice kind of sweetness which just adds a smoothness to the chai. Add some cloves. Cloves gives it the sharpness, and then black peppercorns. Yes, you heard me right. The black peppercorn gives it a little bit of that heat spice that hits you in the back of your throat when you're drinking the chai. So cinnamon adds that warming sweetness to the chai, I think, which rounds up the chai. Next, I go ahead in a mortar and pestle, crush it lightly. Now, as you can see, I'm not making a powder out of it. All I'm doing is crushing it. The reason why I'm crushing it is to allow these spices to release their oils, and that's where the flavor is. So now that we have our spices ready, let's start making the chai. We will start off with some water. In the water goes the spice mix. Add some ginger to this. Now what you can do is crush it in the mortar or pestle or grate it into the chai. I'm going to be using a microplane. You can use a grater. The reason why I like grating it is as you're grating it, the juices of the ginger, they mix along with the spices and give it more of the gingery flavor. Now we are going to wait for this mixture to start coming to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, I do let it simmer for a minute or so before I add the rest of the ingredients. So good. The tea has been boiling. I have let it simmer for some time. Now, when you're making masala chai, milk is cooked along with the spices and the tea leaves. So in goes the milk. Now, it also really depends on which part of India you are from. In northern India, there is a lot more milk used. Southern India, a little less milk is used. It's also a matter of personal preference as to how much milk you want in your tea. Next, I'm going to add some star anise to it. The reason why I'm adding this towards the end is because the chai already has some sweetness in it from the cinnamon, from the fennel and the cardamom that we've added to it. Now, star anise has a very woody sweetness, which is a great finishing spice. So in it goes. Next, I am going to be adding some rose petals. These are dried edible rose petals. They go beautifully with the Assam black tea. So it's that floral quality of the tea along with the dried rose petals, which work so well. I'm going to go ahead and sweeten this. I like to use jaggery in this. Now, jaggery is Indian unrefined sugar. It's almost like dark brown sugar or pelanceo. The sweetness is slightly tamed in this, and it's got a little bit of a minerality to it, which works very well with the tannins which come from the tea. So in this goes. And now we are just going to let this simmer for a few minutes and your chai is ready. So now that my masala chai is ready, I'm going to go ahead and strain it. I got this beautiful teapot from India, which I love to serve my chai in. This is a fancier teapot, but in India, people are selling tea on each and every corner in teapots which look like this. They are simple, they are made of aluminium, but that's how they are selling it. I have my murukkus ready. This needs a cup of chai. Cheers, guys. You know what's a good chai time? All the time. So good. The reason why I love this combination is that the chai is rich. It's got all of these spices in it. Sweet spice, spice that you get from the peppercorn, so there's heat. There is the tannins that you get from the tea, the floral quality of the rose petals, the sweetness from the jaggery. And then when you have something salty and savory and crunchy with it, that combination is a very addictive combination. Today, we are going to be making samosas. They are delicious, crispy exterior with the potato pea filling. It's just a bite that takes me back to the streets of India. Here at a local Indian store, buying ingredients to make a samosa. Now, one of the most important ingredients which adds a depth of flavor to the samosa is hing. Hing is also called asafoetida in English. It is used as a substitute for garlic and onions. It has got that wonderful garlicky, oniony flavor. There is a big population in India which doesn't eat onion and garlic, and this is a great substitute for that. So this is going to be the foundation of our dish. The next ingredient for the samosa is going to be amchur. Amchur is dried raw mango powder, comes in two forms. One is dried raw mango slices. You can go ahead and powder this, but what we are going to get is the powder form of it. Now, this is a wonderful spice which adds tartness to any dish. It can be used as a substitute for lemon or lime, and this is what we need in the samosa to make it craveable. So we are getting this. Let's go ahead and make some samosas. To make the pastry, we go ahead and take some all-purpose flour. To this, I am adding a little bit of rice flour. Next goes in some salt, And then I am going to be adding an Indian spice called ajwain. Ajwain is also carom seeds. It's got this wonderful, almost celery-like flavor to it. Next, we are going to be adding some ghee. Make sure that the ghee and the flour mixture is very well mixed together. So I'm almost going to just crumble it together. So it almost becomes like a sandy texture. Now, this is a very important step because if you do not do this properly, you are not going to get the pastry flour, the dough, which is nice and crumbly. So here is a great trick to see if your dough is ready for some water. So you take a little bit of the flour and press it together. And if it holds together, it is ready for water. Now we're going to go ahead and add some water to it. So basically what I'm looking for is everything being kneaded into a ball. As you can see, this comes together as a dough. At this time, cover it with a damp kitchen cloth. Let it sit for at least 30 minutes and let the gluten relax. So for the filling, we need some boiled potatoes, some peas, some ginger, cilantro, and serrano peppers. So first, I'm going to grate the potatoes and keep that aside. So these are just potatoes which have been boiled until tender. Next, chop up some cilantro and chop up the serrano peppers. I am going to go ahead and grate some ginger. So the reason why I grate it and don't chop it is because I like the juices that come out of the ginger when I am grating it. So I'm going to get my mortar and pestle, and in this, I am going to lightly crush some coriander seeds, some fennel seeds, and some cumin seeds. The reason why I'm crushing these spices is to make sure that more of the flavors are released into the oil when this hits the oil. Okay. We have all our ingredients. Let's start cooking the filling. So you want your oil to be really hot when you start adding the spices to it. Here is a great trick to know if your oil is hot enough. When you look at the surface of the oil, it starts glimmering. That's the time you know that it is hot. Once the oil is hot enough, we go ahead and put our crushed spices. Along with this, I'm going to add some hing or asafoetida. And then you know it, we are waiting for the spices to dance, dance, dance. Can you hear this beautiful symphony? Next, I'm going to be adding the serrano peppers and the ginger. I'll add frozen peas, some salt, some amchur, some garam masala, and some kasuri methi or dried fenugreek leaves. And then add the potatoes to it. Cilantro goes in, and I'm going to turn off the heat at this moment and mix everything together. I am mashing the peas with the back of my spoon so that when they mix along with the potato, it makes a harmonious bite. Okay, once all of this is mixed, I'm going to go ahead and add some ground pepper to this. So once the filling comes together, we'll go ahead and transfer it in a sheet tray and let it cool. So this dough has rested for around half an hour. We are going to start rolling it out. Now we'll go ahead and divide this into equal portions. Make nice balls out of that. Just make sure that when you're rolling it together, there are no cracks in the seams. Otherwise, when you roll it out, it will tear. So you just press that down. Now, this is going to take at least 2 to 3 times of you rolling out, letting it rest, rolling it out, letting it rest for you to get the right thickness. This is done. I'm going to let it rest. While it is resting, it is going to shrink a little bit. So before we fill it, I am going to roll it out once more. Let me go ahead and grab the filling for the samosa. Here it is. Now let's start forming. Let's go ahead and roll this out a little bit more. Cut this in half. And then take some water and put it at the cut point. This is going to act as a glue, and then you make a cone. Press it together firmly. Fill it with a filling. Be generous. Just like pack it in. Now we take some more water and put it in the inside of the cone. Once that's done, we make a fold towards the center of the samosa and fold the other side out. Pinch this together and your samosa is ready. My first externship when I was doing hotel management, I was responsible for making samosas, and I would be making hundreds of samosas a day. I actually would get nightmares of making the samosas, but I can now form these without even looking at it. Okay, so our samosas are all formed. Let's go ahead and fry them. So samosas at 350 degrees, depending on the size of the samosas that you have made, will take around 5 to 7 minutes. Give it time till it's nice and golden brown. You want the pastry to be cooked through and through. I mean, just look at how beautiful this looks. Okay, our samosas are ready. Let's take them out from the oil and finish them with a sprinkling of chaat masala. Okay, let's go ahead and plate the samosas. Along with samosas, there are always chutneys which are served. Now, chutneys in Indian cuisine are the quintessential crowning glory to any dish. With a samosa, a really good chutney is a tamarind chutney because it's tart and it's sweet and it works very well with the creamy, spicy exterior of the samosa. Another chutney which I love to serve along with samosa is our mint cilantro chutney. So it's mint and cilantro which has been blended up. The last chutney is actually not a chutney, it is a ketchup. It's an Indian ketchup, which is a hot and sweet ketchup. So as the name suggests, there is a little bit of a kick to it and it is sweet. To me, I do think that the hot and sweet ketchup that you get at any Indian store is the ultimate perfect chutney. Okay, this is the best part of the day. So when you are breaking into it, the exterior is so crispy and look at the creamy interior. It's got so much spice in it and it smells so good. Then you dunk it in your favorite chutney. I like to make a combination of all three. Because why not, right? This samosa is all that and more. The pastry is crunchy and crispy. When I bite into it, I can hear the crunch. The interior, it's spicy. The potato makes it creamy. The bite of the sweet peas, they are almost bursting as you bite into it. This, my friends, is what a samosa should be. Today, we are going to make one of my personal favorite street foods, pakoras. Pakoras are crunchy fried fritters. There are many different versions across India. And once you get the basics down, this is a recipe you can really learn to personalize with what you have in your pantry. I am using baby spinach and will be serving it with fresh cilantro mint chutney to dip them in. Now, the most important ingredient in a pakora is the flour that we use, besan or a chickpea flour. This has a wonderful roasted flavor to it and has no gluten, so it's absolutely delicious. You need to make sure that you cook this through and through to get the best flavor. So one of the most important ingredients in a pakora is chaat masala. Chaat masala is a blend of spices, which in my books is the ultimate finishing salt. It has roasted cumin in it. It has that really sulfuric funky, delicious, umami-ish taste of black salt, which makes it really nice and savory. In India, chaat masala is pretty much used on everything. You make a salad, chaat masala goes on top of it. You are finishing pakoras, chaat masala goes on top of it. This is the ultimate finishing salt. Now that we have all the ingredients for the pakora, let's start getting ingredients for the chutney together. It is a cilantro mint chutney with mango in it. So for the mango, we are going to be getting this mango pulp. If you can't find mango pulp, just get some fresh ripe mangoes or get some frozen mangoes from the frozen fruit aisle. Now we have all our ingredients together. Let's go ahead and make some pakoras. So, to make the pakoras, we start with what we are going to be frying. I am going to be using some baby spinach. Now, you can use any greens, any vegetables that you want. I have made the pakoras using collard greens, rainbow chard. Just use your favorite greens and make it your own. So now with the baby spinach, I am going to go ahead and roughly chop it, not too fine. You still want to taste the spinach when you are biting into the pakora. So as you can see, easy peasy. Next, we are going to go ahead and slice some onions. You want to bite into the onion, so it's not going to be a fine chop. I cut off the base and the top, cut it in half, remove the skin. I will make a slit right in the center and then cut it in slices. I like using white onions because they are sweeter and not as sharp as red onions. Now with cilantro, as I always say, keep some of the cilantro stems because that is where all the cilantro flavor is. Almost fold it up and chop it. I have my spinach, my cilantro, and my onions in a bowl. Next, add some ginger garlic paste. Equal parts of ginger and garlic which have been blended with a little bit of water. In this goes. I am going to add some besan or chickpea flour. And I'm going to be putting a touch of rice flour. Now, what rice flour does is that it gives it a little bit of the crunch that we really want in a fritter when it is deep fried. You know, you bite into it and it's that textural contrast. Next, go in the spices. So I'm going to grab my masala dabba over here. Just the smells of spices, so beautiful. Going to add some salt. I'm going to add some turmeric powder to it. So turmeric not only gives it a little bit of that beautiful golden hue, it also gives it a brightness. I'm going to be adding some garam masala. Garam masala is a blend of different spices. Think of warming spices like cumin, coriander, star anise, cinnamon. These are all of the different spices that go into the garam masala. There is a little bit of the Kashmiri chili. Now, Kashmiri chili is one of my favorite chilies to use in Indian cooking. It is almost like paprika, but has a little bit more of that heat to it. The next spice that I'm going to add is chaat masala. And then I'm going to be adding a little bit of kasuri methi or fenugreek leaves. Now, I am going to get in and mix the whole thing. The first step is you just mix everything together. Make sure that all the spices, all the ingredients are coming together. Just massage those flavors in. I just like using my hands. You get a feel of what you are doing. Next, you slowly add water to it. So slowly the water goes in. So when you are making pakoras, you cannot make this batter and let it sit. You have to make this and fry it immediately. The reason being that if you let it sit for a little bit of time, the onions will start releasing water and this batter is going to get very watery. Now over here, I have oil heated to 350 degrees. Make sure that it is not too hot, because what will happen is that the outside of the pakora is going to be burned while the inside is going to be raw. So 350 degrees is the best temperature. Now, what you do is with your hands, you just go ahead and make small morsels and put it, so in it goes. So with pakoras, you're waiting for it to fry for around 3 to 5 minutes till it's nice and golden brown. Really depends on how many pakoras you're frying in a pot. Over here, it's important to control the temperature. What we're looking for is a beautiful golden brown fritter. Now, pakoras are so easy to make. As you see, it took us just a few minutes. So whenever we would have unexpected guests coming home, pakora was the one thing that mom would make, because it's easy to make. You have all the ingredients at hand and you can just quickly whip it up together. Just look at how beautiful and golden brown this looks. You remove it from the oil. Now, as soon as you take it out from the fryer, you have to sprinkle it with some of the chaat masala right over here, and be generous with it. These look beautiful. So what these fritters or pakoras need is a nice dipping sauce. And I am going to be making a mango mint cilantro chutney. Chutneys can be cooked, they can be raw, they are usually seasonal, and they are the perfect accompaniment to take a really good dish to new heights. So over here, I have some cilantro leaves which go in the blender. Then we put in some mint leaves. Some Thai chilies. Going to put some lemon juice, some salt, and then I'm going to be putting some mango puree in this, and then we'll blend it. Your chutney is ready. This chutney is so versatile. I make cucumber mint sandwiches with this chutney in it. So delicious. Pile up the pakoras. This is such a party favorite. Whenever I have parties at home, I always make pakoras and people love it. I can never make enough of these because they disappear really fast. There, we have it. Our spinach onion pakoras with mint cilantro chutney. I can't wait to try this. So just a generous amount of chutney. This is absolutely delicious. The chutney is sweet, tart, spicy. It's got that herbaceousness which comes through mint and cilantro, and it's the perfect dipping sauce. And the exterior of the fritter, because of using the rice flour, has a crunch to it which makes it very, very craveable.